Hey, Lawrence.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Paul, how?
Doing well. I've got like some wicked sun glare coming in from the side here, so everything's kind of dark and silhouetted. I can't really see the screen very well.
Are you in Florida? Are you in Florida or something? Is that what you're doing, Paul?
Yeah, no, it's just that side of the building, and not much I can do about it.
I got a hoping you won the lottery and you were living in Bahamas now or something.
Nope.
Michael, it's Doreen. We can start whenever you're ready. I think right now we're missing Peter.
Good. Everybody else is good?
I'm looking for, I know that Rose said she'd be joining. I'm just waiting to see if she's here yet. I'm looking for Rose. Michael Paduch is here. Lawrence is here. Oh, I don't see Alicia. Mike, are you filling in for her today?
Yes, I'll be filling in for today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is Joe on? Joe Minute on? Anybody know?
I don't see him on now.
Okay, fine. He can come in whenever he's on. Okay. We're ready to go. We're all ready to go, Doreen?
When you're ready, we're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, my dear.
We have to do, everybody silence your phones. I don't know if it's official meeting. I forget, it's been so long. Do we have to do
It's an official meeting.
All right. So we all sign this phone. Let's stand for pledge of allegiance. I said, okay. Ready? I pledge allegiance
To the
to the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United
United
States
States of America,
and to the
and
republic
to
which
which
stands
stands
one nation under
One
God,
nation,
under God, indivisible.
liberty, justice for all. God bless America.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Here's the format today. I'm going to give you a little opening introduction, and then we'll open up the questions. I think there's more
Michael,
questions.
did you want to do attendance or no?
I'm sorry?
Did you want to do attendance or no?
Oh, yeah, I do. Why don't we do that for the record?
Okay, you got it. Paduch,
Here.
Tui.
Here.
Oh, thank you, Peter. D'Amico, Ledoux,
Here.
Wiley,
Here.
Kukis, Amo.
Here.
Okay.
All right, we can go. So I said, what I want to do is begin with just a little introduction and fill you in what I know as of now. And then we'll go with the questions. I think I've spoken to Lawrence about it already, so he's up to speed. The RFP was due back about 10 days ago, if I got the date correct. And we were right up to the wire answering questions that people were sending in. There was some concern that we didn't know how many we were going to get. Anyway, the good news is that 6 companies have responded to our RFP. Major companies from Chicago to New York City to upstate New York, around other states, Pennsylvania, I believe, and very serious proposals. So I got to tell you that I have to be very cautious about what I can say so streaming, because we can't let out too much information about the folks that have bid, and so without maybe affecting the whole outcome. We don't want to do that. So the bottom line is we have 6. I can tell you that the 6 of them have a very broad background. A lot of architects, master planning, designers, property managers, some financial folks that would look at the feasible sustainability of the project. So there's lots of kind of ideas that are out there that we're going to have to sift through and decide what combination is the best person or group to help us out. I can tell you in general terms, the 6 bids in cost range from $200,000 to $900,000. So we've got a full range of groups. And some of the thing, I think when we start looking at it, we'll get down to how much is included in the proposal and how much is considered extra. And sometimes those, so we want to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples when we look at each proposal. But I think those of you who have been involved with that know about that. So that's the list. The next step in the process is for all of us to go ahead and begin the process of reviewing each of having a committee review each of them. I see Katie Benelli coming on, Chairwoman. We have, through Katie's office, put together a way to vet these 6 and make it a recommendation to this committee and to the Health and Mental Health Committee of which group we really think are the best for Orange County. What we did something a little unique. It was a thought that we want to keep the scoring team to as small as possible so that we're not into huge numbers and trying to figure out where we're going with that. But at the same time, we don't want to leave anyone out if we don't have to. If there's any way we can keep everybody inclusive, that's a good idea too. So the chairwoman's recommendation, appointment, which I recommended to her, was the scoring team would be myself, Lawrence Ledoux, Mike Paduch, Paul Wiley, Joe Menuda, and Anne Marie Maglione. Joe is a new one to the group, and I asked if he was on here. Joe's an architect and at one time in a conversation, and the legislator, said he's seen a number of these kind of proposals and been involved in some of his company. So I thought he'd be really good to be the person listening to the architectural lingo and letting us know whether it's spot on or not. So, and he was really willing. Chairwoman Benelli spoke to him, and he was really willing to join us, and that's good news. We invited him. He had time to come on today. I'm not sure if he's going to make it, but he will catch up with him. The different thing is we added a group called the advisory team. And the advisory team is people who really are going to be valuable to us to make the decision, and we're going to want to use their input as much as we can to come up with the right numbers. And then when we come back with the recommendation, they can help us sort that out. But the actual physical pen to paper scoring will be the ones I just mentioned. On the existing advisory team, we got Alan Sorensen, Legislator Peter Toohey, Samantha from General Services, and Betsy Abraham, and we also can expand that. And if anybody knows somebody, if there's somebody here that would like to have a role on that advisory, please send your name to Doreen, and we'll talk to the chairwoman about it and see if it's possible to add it. The person would be helping us get there. It's my understanding, and Doreen helped me here on this one before I go on, is that we do have hard copies of all the proposals in the legislative office, and we have a digital copy of it.
That is correct.
I believe after this meeting, help me if I'm not wrong, after this meeting, we will be able to send out the digital copy to the people I just mentioned. Is that correct?
We can. Yes.
So you'll have that some point, and you'll have the digital.
Yes.
There, Joe's on. Hi, Joe. Welcome on. I see Joe Menuda. Welcome. So we'll be getting the digital copy out today, and you can use it. Now, Doreen, they'll be sent out. You don't need to have that special share account to get into it. It'll be the one you sent me, right?
It'll be the other version. Yes, it is the share file, but it's easily accessible.
Okay, so you'll get it, and you can start working on it, marking it up any way you want. On what I did, because there's a number of in IT, Joe Joy or somebody in IT can help you if you're not familiar. Is that you can open it up and you can download it and put it in the books on your computer, so you really can then write on it and do all what you want. So you can keep it all together that way, or use it anyway. We do have, I believe, maybe 6 copies that are still left, if I got my numbers right, Doreen, in the legislature. I think we're going to hold on to those and decide how we're going to distribute them, because we don't know how we're really at this point, how they're going to be used. Katie, do I have that about right? I mean, we're going to hold them in the office and then are we going to distribute them to the scorers?
I believe that Doreen said we have a total of 9. Is that correct, Doreen?
Yeah, we have a total of 9. 3 have been dispersed, so we have 6 left.
Mine will be the office copy, so that we always have a copy, and I will not mark mine up but everybody will get a digital copy. I would also caution you, Betsy, correct me if I'm wrong, that these should not be shared with anybody other than this particular committee and the individuals that were mentioned, either to be on the scoring committee or the advisory.
That is
Yeah,
correct.
Any-
And we asked Betsy, who's here, but Betsy Abrams here with us, that if any of us in these processes say something that is not kosher, she will tell us to stop. Because
That
we
is
want to make
correct,
sure
yes.
we have some very exciting people on some of these very high-end people. I think one of them, I'm just guessing, I don't know which one it was. It seemed like they had they have a number of companies and partners, and there was probably as many as 300 professionals who work for all these companies that came into the one proposal. So very complex response. And we got to remember, and I'll go back over that again. When we wrote the RFP on that, you'll notice that it was sort of a 3-part RFP. The first part is get a master plan so that we can kind of decide what we think the thing is going to look like and how it's going to work. And then the next step is to think about putting an RFP together that would see who would be interested in doing this with us in a way that benefits the county. And then put together, and then the final step would really for us to put together a model to oversee whoever's doing it. More than likely this committee, but we may do it differently. So that's it. Remember, there's 3 parts. So the first part is here now with a bid to do a master plan, a visualization of it so we can show it to people and get it around. And the others will be to look for somebody that might want to do it. But the people we're talking about today are not necessarily the people who we want to do it. Although I think Betsy can help me with this. The RFP did not preclude any of the people who bid on it to do the master plan to come back and bid to do it. They can do that if they want to. We didn't preclude that.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so I think I've told you all that I know about it. Other people may jump in. You're welcome to go around, raise your hand, ask questions. Joe, I know you've had a little bit of time to look at it, and you told me in the Montgomery Day Parade that you kind of had been involved in these kind of things, especially in healthcare projects in the past. And we really welcome you to come on board as a legislator and an architect yourself. So that's a valuable tool for us, because I think we're going to be running into a lot of folks that are architects, and we'll be talking language that I won't understand. So anything, would you like to start on?
Thank you for including me in this first and foremost, and everybody that's on the line. I think it's a very important project. It's an important project that we take good consideration into. I am a little unclear as to the actual scope of work. I know we're looking for a master plan, but my question is, what is it that we're envisioning? I know we had some discussions, and Michael, Katie had briefly said, you were speaking with Mike Amo about it, and I didn't recall it until she actually said it, and you just mentioned that the parade. But what? I'm sorry,
I'm sorry I didn't make a better impression on you.
No, I think we were talking about. You made a great impression, Michael. It's just I got a lot going on. We had. I think the initial impression here is that we're trying to create a campus that serves the existing facility to provide amenities that would limit transportation off campus. So in other words, there may be some services that would be needed that are done off campus. They could now be done on campus. There could be some housing and some other things. And I was unclear from the RFP if that is what we were asking, or if we're asking the consultant to tell us what we should have.
Yeah, I think in the RFP and in a lot of our documents, we had a list of things that we thought we'd like to see there. I think the beginning, and somebody else help me if my mind is forgetting something, but in the very beginning, we said we wanted to have some way that the people of Orange County would find a way to age and are looking for a way to age in place, could begin the process on our campus. So that's like step one. So somebody talked about like a welcome center or some kind of an educational building or process that would allow people to learn about, what are my options? I have Medicare, I have private insurance, I have Medicaid. What kind of options do I have? And be able to work through this. So to be that kind of a welcome center process there. And I don't know how we do it, but because people might come in and say, I want to, I'd like to go to Florida. How do I do that? We'll have people who can talk to them. And then it came along with that we needed to have some type of housing. Was an idea for some senior housing or people. One of the proposals suggested, well, if somebody has a family member in a nursing home at Valley View and, they live in a long ways away, maybe they want to buy or rent an apartment or a house or a condo, whatever they come up with, so they can actually be walking distance to stay in contact with their relative. That was proposed as an idea. So that's where the housing sort of came into it. There was a good amount of talk about ancillary services like should you have a physical therapist? Should you have a geriatric medicine person group in there? Should you do something that somebody would come on the campus and be able to get help? And also that could also help serve Valley View. The ability to, I think Anne Marie had talked about putting a cafe there that people could come and have healthy lunches. And at the same time, there may be a way that the Meals on Wheels could be used there. People could come in with a voucher and get a free lunch because they were eligible for Meals on Wheels. You talked about some of that. So it could be like a cafe. So that was kind of the general thing. So I think we have that idea and that it needs to service Valley View. And the service connection to Valley View, if I got it right, Lawrence, you can help me. This is up your alley, is that, there are people, a pipeline where people are going to decide where they're going to want to go to get skilled nursing or rehab if they need it. And so this campus would give knowledge and information and ability to say, okay, I want to go to Valley View. And they know how they can begin to talk about that and know what they need to do to qualify, et cetera, et cetera. On the other hand, there may be people who live there who need services at home, either after they've left Valley View or they never went in, but they need skilled rehab services. And our CHA, I got that right, is perfectly set to come out and provide services on the campus. So you can get them both ways. I would also think that some people may need financial counseling in terms of how do I qualify for Medicaid, or how do I qualify for this, or what can I really afford? So that's kind of the range of things, Joe. And I think we want to leave a good amount of opportunity for the people who have come in, if they've done anything like this or similar to that they can say, oh, I get it, but I think you should add this, or I think you shouldn't do this. And so I'm open to listen to the full range of people who would come in, but I think we have a general idea. I don't know if that helps you.
Is this an appropriate forum? So I read through and briefed through all 6 proposals and the RFP. Is this an appropriate forum to discuss this?
Let me ask Betsy this one. When we do the discussing of it, will we be non-virtual? Will we be in we'll be in a room but not public?
It will be non-virtual, yes, because it is an exception. It is issuing of a contract, a potential bid. So to that extent, it will not be a public meeting.
You should not be public discussions on this now.
Yes. Thank you, Sam.
So if you
I'm
have
sorry, that was
questions,
a yes or a no?
No.
No.
Thank you. Okay.
But I'm going to jump in and they'll tell me. Rebecca will tell me if I'm making a mistake. But I think because you've had a background, Joe, in doing some of these things, if you want to ask questions generally about the process, without speaking about any of the bidders, I'm open for that. Or you'd like to give the group any comments, I'm open for that too. But I mean, we don't need to get into the weeds on doing this now. Well, if you say something and Betsy says don't say it, well, then just don't say it. Stop.
I think setting the table as to what the expectation is for this is important. As an architect who's been in healthcare since 2005, specifically with senior housing and nursing facilities and CHA and all of that, I've done all that both here in Goshen and New York City. I understand what this is all about. When we talk about a master plan, though, and Michael, I'll just kind of glaze the conversation that you and I had briefly over at the parade there, getting ready for that, which is the master plan should just be an understanding of the property, what's there, what amenities we have, what infrastructure we have, the capability of that infrastructure, and then what programming, architectural program we want to have on campus to complement what's already existing. And that's kind of the gist of the RFP, I think, and what we're looking for, or at least as an architect, that's what I would look to see in that RFP. So I think we need to clearly identify and probably make some interviews to ensure that everybody understood what we're asking.
You think that perhaps maybe our first meeting of the scoring team and the advisory group they can listen to should be about a broad discussion of what do we really want? Make sure we're a little, as a group, clear before we start doing something?
Yes, because when I see numbers the way I saw them, so widely ranged, as you had pointed out, that tells me that there was a major interpretation in many different ways from different firms. And that also comes down to their level of knowledge and ability and intellect in what they do. What might be standard in one area may not be in another. So to have that common understanding would really justify some of these numbers.
Okay, that's fine with me, because I think over the last 2 or 3 years, and plus with Jimmy O'Donnell, we had a lot of information and people talking to us with ideas. And when we got the RFP out, we might tried to say everything but missed something. And I think it's good, before we start putting paper to pencil and scoring it, we spend at least one meeting saying, okay, let's talk about what we saw. I know that from my mind, I may be different than yours, is that, and Joe, you know this, and I know Lawrence does too, is that I don't think the average person on the street in Goshen or whatever, or even other legislators are just leave it at that, understand enough about the whole aging in place process. And they might get ideas that are different. And so I thought that the master plan, when it came out, would be a great marketing tool for us to bring energy and interest in this project, because I really believe if we do this right, the residents of Orange County are going to be so much farther ahead than most other counties and maybe anybody in the state or the country in terms of being able to look at, how do I construct my aging? How do I do that? How can I get that done? Because that's amazing. Anybody that's gone through that process or thought about it, it's crazy. I mean, I can use a side note. I was looking at one point, because I had long-term care insurance, but I do. And I was looking for a continuing care retirement community, CCRC, the one that's over in Goshen is an example of it. I bet there's 100 or so across the country. And everyone is just a little different. And boy, you get confused when you start talking to them. And now I probably have about 9 of them that are kind of always calling me and asking me if I made a decision yet. So, I mean, it's a lot of options, and it's confusing and a lot of pressure to go in. And it's sometimes going to be expensive, and you don't get what you want. So I think we're going to offer the residents of Orange County something really interesting if we do it. And I think the master plan and a visualization of that will help educate people. And Mike Paduch wants to jump in on the master plan, because that was his mantra for so long. When are we going to get a master plan? Well, master plan, here we are.
Yeah, I'm a little confused though as to how do you put together a master plan if we haven't actually decided? I mean, we've given them ideas what we might want there, but how do you know what size areas is going to be available, like a 3-acre plot or 2 5-acre plots, or to be able to put the infrastructure there that we need so that we can determine what the appurtenance is, the sewer treatment and the water capabilities are. I think that has to be in place with that idea that we want to have long-term housing and we want to have long-term care there, so that we know what it would take to do that. That's what the master plan should be able to tell us. That, in my opinion, anyway, because without knowing what we can put there or what we're hoping to put there and have it as a something on the master plan itself that says, we're looking for senior housing in this area, or we're looking for daycare, whatever's been decided, that we know what the requirements would be in regards to the infrastructure. I think it's pretty hard without a master plan that says what we're going to put where, or what's available to be put there, and what infrastructure would be available. That's how I looked at it. And I thought that would be part of the master plan first. knowing that we could, it says this and this, and so that's what we're looking to do there. So that the RFP with the architects and the engineers could say, okay, we've partnered with these people before. They're interested in having a plot there to do long-term or whatever their specialty is. I think we need to be able to show them that master plan allows it to be there. That's my opinion, that we have everything that's needed to accomplish it.
And I think, go ahead, Katie, please.
I want to bring this back a little bit because we're getting off into a different area that was really not the purpose for this meeting. A lot of the discussions that we've had for months as far as this is concerned. Joe Menuda, unfortunately, is at a disadvantage because he wasn't part of this, but it made perfect sense to all of us to include him in this because of his expertise. He had the ability to, this all happened very, very quickly. These proposals just came in. Michael, you worked on a selection committee, a scoring committee. I think that's what we're calling it. And to include Joe in that was very important, and I'm very happy that he agreed to do that. Not only did he agree to do that, but he got into it within less than 24 hours. Joe, I really applaud your effort and your enthusiasm. Unfortunately, these proposals just came in. They hadn't been distributed. The game plan was to distribute it to everybody after the meeting. So at this point, I believe, except for Joe and Michael, mine's sitting here. And to be honest with you, I have only opened the first one. So I haven't had a chance to look at it. And I know Betsy's been busy with other things, so she hasn't had a chance to look at it. So for us to get into talking about this, but I'd really like to rein it back to what the idea was. The idea was that we can just do so much. You mentioned what Lawrence brought to the table, which was phenomenal. Anne Marie had a lot of great ideas, but we're not in the industry. And that's what we wanted to do. We purposely kept the proposal vague because we wanted them to come up with creativity to say, look, you have this plot of land that, as Michael Paduch said, and you could develop something like here. This is a market that could support it, or this is a market that won't support it. This is something that will have longevity to develop there to become a feeder for Valley View. These are the people that are in the business. For us to decide what's going, we're not in the business. We could decide we want something there, and it's not going to be sustainable, and we're going to have spent all this money, and then we're not going to have any occupants there. So we want the people that build these things. I think we interviewed somebody from, I know the man came from Chester and he was involved in stuff. That was very, very interesting. Now, it leaves a lot to, we don't know whether that would work here in Orange County. It worked someplace else. So the proposal was definitely vague for that purpose. Let them use the creativity as to what could be developed there. And it's as simple as that. So we're all saying things, but I think we have to put it into baby steps. And these are the baby steps. This is the first step. Let's see what's out there. Let's see what the interest is. Let people that do these types of things look at the property, see what will work. As far as the infrastructure there, that's going to be a job. So I just put that all in perspective because, we were getting into a conversation that we've had for months. And at this point, we need to start to move forward with all of this. And that's what the scoring committee, along with the advisors, do. So thank you for listening to my little spiel.
No, I think, Katie, I'm going to jump in.
Michael, you have been relentless with this, and we wouldn't have even gotten this far if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much.
I think you're right. And I haven't read the proposal into the depth that I need to really be able to score it. But I suspect that, sort of to get to Mike's point, and I understand what he's talking about there, but I think there may be things that we have never even thought about that are being done someplace in Illinois or someplace in Mississippi that somebody's worked on. Wow, that's a great idea. Can we put it there? Or something is we want it there, and somebody will say, people have tried that, but it didn't work. There was I think, Katie, your point is a really good one about sustainability, not only of Valley View, but of this project. I know Rick Golden and I had a conversation with us a long time ago that, if you're going to build something, do you have some sense that it can survive and it's sustainable? The population around us willing and welcome and able to utilize it, and can it really work? So these are kind of things that people will bring to the table when we begin to look at the RFPs and the responses, and we begin to interview them or talk to them. We'll get a better sense of what's out there and flesh it out. I think we'll come to that point, Mike. Anybody else have any other questions or concerns around what I'm talking about?
Mike, this is Mike Torelli with the county.
Okay, go on. Sure, go ahead.
Good afternoon. Will this RFP and the people that are looking to do the master plan look at some of the existing buildings that are there that are not being used and come up with a determination and an evaluation of those as well to potentially supplement what they want to do?
We didn't restrict Mike. We didn't restrict that. I think if somebody comes up with an idea and it sounds like an interesting one, we may consider it. I don't know if that's a good hit. Yeah, I think I'm hoping we didn't restrict it. I mean, I know we did say that Valley View was not for sale. That Valley View is not part of the bid. Valley View is freestanding, county operated, owned and operated skilled facility with a rehab unit and a CHA. But it's our own. That's not part of the bid. But if there's some part that they think could be maximized and used, let's hear it. And maybe we'd be interested. That's my thought, Mike.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Michael, if you don't mind, I would like to point out at the top of page 9 in the RFP, we say that we focused on 3 core areas: housing, infrastructure, and services, and that's sections 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And then at the bottom of page 10, we talk about the deliverables that we were looking for, and we give that's number 6, and there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. So those are really what you focused on. As Katie pointed out, we were trying to be open to their ideas and the experts, to come in with their methodology. We did include the site plan and the schematics, thanks to Paul Wiley. So that, I think, is really what the main meat of the RFP was to focus on. You can see those in those particular sections, if that helps the reviewers any.
Thanks, Zeb. Anybody else? Let me just, because I know we have other things to do, but I think we know what we're doing now. We know who's going to be helping us score, the role of different advisors and consultants to our group that we can use that we think we need. Now it's just kind of beginning to work. I would like to find a date or a few dates in the early part in December. I know it's a holiday season, that we can have at least the kickoff meeting where we do what Joe talked about to kind of bring this together, and have it happen after you had a chance to review and not score, just review and understand the proposals we've received. So and Doreen, I don't know how I'm going to recommend this, and tell me if it's good. If the members of the scoring and the advisory committee, specifically the scoring, of course, but the advisory can let us know some dates that they like, and we'll all do that. And then we'll see if we can find some time that works for everybody and pick a date in December. I know we can't do it like this, the third week or whatever, Tuesday, because that's right in the middle of the holidays. So we might have to be a little more careful of where we do it. But let's see if we can find one date that most of us can make it to have this discussion Joe was talking about. Anybody have any concern about doing that? Okay. If you can just send something when you're available or not available to Doreen. Is that okay, Doreen? Doreen?
Yes, sorry, I was muted. That's fine, absolutely. We do have we do end up, we go from, this month is, we go literally from our session on the 7th, the following week directly into committees. The following week is committees, and then our next session. So, but we can always work around, either earlier in the day or, we'll make it work.
Yeah. Can you, just so you know that, we could send out a list of what those committees are to this group, so if they're sending in their dates, they know not to put it in the dates when we have something else going on. Is that possible?
Yes, I can send them a copy of the calendar, absolutely.
Okay, that way you can look at it and say, oh, I'm free, but they're not. You know, the legislature's not. I can't do it in that day. At least we eliminate dates. And we get down to a couple dates that we can make work, we'll make it work. It's virtual. You can do it, you know, on Santa's lap if you want. I don't care where you are. You know, you can just take it, sit, you know, stay at home. I don't care where you are. We're going to do this virtually anyway. So, okay.
Michael, I will tell you that Fridays, like the 8th and the 15th, are wide open. We don't have any committees those days. Those days are wide open, just so that you're aware.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Michael, on the 6 proposals that we received, are they really in depth where, you know, we need a little time to review them and get it in our heads as to who's suggesting what or what their thoughts are, you know? Because I haven't seen anything yet.
No, they are thorough. I'll tell you that. There's no doubt about it. A whole lot of it is, and I'll tell you, most every one of them, I think every one of them is heavy on staffing that they're going to use and qualifications and references. So that can be worked out quickly for the purpose of the first meeting, where you're trying to just get a basic idea of what's going on. Sort of a Cliff Notes review of it would be my suggestion. You know, make sure you read it over, and get a sense of what each proposal is. Maybe take a half a dozen notes, and then come to the meeting on that date, and let's just kind of zero in, as Joe had suggested we do a little bit, so we all get as close to the same page as it's at all possible, so that when we start scoring, we're not arguing about points that we disagree on. We understand what the basic direction is, and we can start talking about how well that, after that, which will probably be a January meeting, where we're going to try to start the scoring process. You'll have a number of weeks, I guess, from whatever those dates to go ahead and read in thorough details and take thorough notes. Sam has already sent us a draft of a scoring sheet, which we've got to, I want to talk to the chairwoman about it and make sure that it has all the things that we want in it. I think we want in it, but you'll also get that once that's complete. So you'll get a sense of, any of you haven't been involved in this kind of process before, you'll get a sense of how to score, what things we think are important to look at. And then maybe we'll modify it again, you know, before we actually do the scoring. But I think the first meeting is going to be a general one where we kind of sort of refocus and make sure we're all looking in the same direction, true north, if you will. We're all kind of looking in the same direction, and be ready to take on the review. So to answer your question, Mike, maybe read a little quicker than normal. Maybe scan, you know, is going to be in order so we can get this thing off the ground before the holidays. But we're not going to be really into the thorough details of what each proposal is about until the January meeting.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Anybody else? All right, that's good. So we'll get back to you with all. You'll get all the material this week. You'll have it. We'll try to get dates, and we'll identify the December meeting for you, and we'll convene that and roll up our sleeves and follow what Joe was thinking and see if we can't focus. Okay, so with that, anybody got I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Got it. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Let's go.
Aye.
Thanks very much, everybody, for joining us, and let's move forward. I think we're going to be excited when you start reading these people. There's some pretty high level people in there with very interesting ideas and enormous backgrounds. They'll be good to see. Okay.
Thank
you,
Michael.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
everybody. Have a
Bye-bye.
good afternoon. Yep.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Kate.